Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Middle Atlantic Freedom Conference Tournament. The postseason starts tonight for the Delaware Valley University Aggies as they are the 4th seed and they play host to the Lycoming College Warriors. Good evening, everyone. Gordon Mann, joined by Brad Vangelli and our producer Tony, shot on camera as we get you ready for the postseason. We had a little bit of a taste of it on Monday night, Delaware Valley winning the play-in game on the women's side, and this time, Brad, a game that we weren't so sure was going to be played here. We needed a lot of things to fall into place between two teams who each won on the other one's floor.
Yeah, and we thought this would be the matchup, and the Aggies needed to knock off the top seed DeSales in their final regular season conference game, and they did just that, played one of their best games of the year. Then they needed Lycoming to go to DeSales and lose, and DeSales doubled them up, beat them by 38. So Aggies coming off their best game of the year against the best team.
Right.
Lycoming coming off probably their worst game of the year against that same DeSales team. But overall, two teams, same exact record. They split the regular season matchup, pretty much exactly what a 4-5 matchup looks like.
The matchup here, 1 of 4 in the Freedom Conference tonight. DeSales will play Kings in the 1 versus 8 game. 2 at 7 is Stevens and Wilkes University. 3-6 is Arcadia and Misericordia. And right here, we'll, of course, have Del Val and Lycoming. It's a big moment here for the men's basketball team. Brad, this team has come together and seems to be peaking at the right time. We're going to hear about this a little bit in just a minute. There's 11 players in the rotation. 8 of them are seniors.
Yeah, and it's a group who had a new coach come in. It's a completely new style.
Right.
Give credit to the staff and the players. It took them about a little over half the year to really start figuring things out. Earlier in the year, they lost the number 8 seed Kings here at home. They were still trying to figure things out, but they're really peaking, I think, and I think the team thinks, at the right time, heading into the most important game of the year. So credit to the staff and to this team for sticking with it and really figuring things out.
Well, to get you a taste from some of the players in tonight's game, a video for you. Talking with Matt Paulus, Thomas Ibadapo, Pernell Gee, and others about how the season has gone.
Perfect.
Well, as Thomas Ibadapo said, the season could end at any moment, and it will in about an hour and a half for one of these two teams. The Warriors and the Aggies getting set here in the Middle Atlantic Freedom Conference. Quick update of the other action for you. The Aggies women's basketball team in action tonight in the Freedom Conference tournament. Tough matchup as the 8 versus the 1. They're trailing DeSales 50-17. 8:26 to play in the third quarter. That one, Lycoming's women are also actually on the road. They're playing at Stevens. I'm not sure what the score of that game is, but again, Stevens would be the favorite in that one. You know, one of the things, Brad, we've talked about throughout the season is the Aggies don't have a lot of size. They've had Jordan Gomes often as the lone starting front court player. Thomas Ibadapo has played much better as of late, and every night when we do these games, we say, okay, who matches up with Jalen Watkins, pick a guy, Trent Fisher. Tonight it's Harward, and Harward's an interesting matchup because he's a big guy who shoots threes very well. We saw him hit 3 in a row when they played here a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and he leads the conference in rebounding. He plays a lot of minutes, which is something that our big guy, Ibadapo, he plays about 10 less minutes per game than Harward. Yeah. So does Thomas Ibadapo go more minutes, changing up the rotations a little bit? It looked like the Aggies kind of figured out those rotations down the stretch. So, yeah, and he's a guy who can step out. Maybe might be a little quicker than Thomas, so how's he going to react to that? And you said Jordan Gomes listed I think 5'10" he's listed. He plays much, much bigger than that. He likes to do his work down low on the block. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to match up against the leading rebounder and one of the top shot blockers in the league as well.
Aggies and Warriors, we'll have a brief announcement here, I think, to thank the university sponsors, and then we'll get you the starting lineups. I alluded to it a moment ago, so might as well fill in the blanks. Stevens leading Lycoming in women's basketball 35-19 halfway through the third quarter in Hoboken.
The Delaware men's basketball team has to turn your attention to center court as they honor two of their biggest sponsors before tonight's contest. The Delaware men's basketball team would like to take this moment to thank two companies for their kind donations and support to the men's basketball program. From future stars Mike Rush, and from Birdman Swimming Services, current Aggies assistant coach John Mason. The Aggies thank you for your generous support. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to James Ford Gymnasium on the campus of Delaware Valley University for tonight's MAC Freedom Tournament game between visiting Warriors of Lycoming College and your Delaware Valley University Aggies. Game programs for tonight's contest can be found at the table located outside the main entrance. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and direct your attention to the American flag above center court for the playing of our national anthem.
Aggies and Warriors set to meet for the first time in the postseason. I can't say ever, but in a long time. Lycoming has been a moving target in terms of their conference affiliations. 2 years ago, they were champs of the MAC Commonwealth Conference, the other side of the Middle Atlantic Corporation. But if you go back 10 years, they were actually in the Freedom Conference at one point. So, starting lineups here for the Warriors. Mo Terry, Stephen Hamilton, the exceptional sophomore from Phoenixville, so down in this part of the state. Matt Elodegwe, see how many times I can mispronounce that tonight. DeAndre Manuel, junior forward who started every game but one. And the guy we mentioned in our pregame, making his 25th start of the season, the junior from Danville, PA, Dyson Harward. And we'll let Chris Elliott give you the Aggies starters.
And the 6'4"
the advantages these two teams have had this year, Brad, and it's a strange one. Consistent starting lineups.
Yeah, exactly. Paulus, Mark, Guy, Diaz, and Gomes, the consistent starting five. And Lycoming, same starting five as well. They only pretty much go six men overall. Maven James comes off the bench as their sixth man. All their starters play 30-plus minutes. So it's a consistent lineup there, and that's much, much different than how the Aggies play. They play 10, sometimes 11 deep. We've seen Coach Cobb. He's going 5 in, 5 out rotations.
Yeah, it looks like hockey style.
Yeah, last couple games he's been trying that out, and that seems to be working a little bit. So much different styles in that aspect.
You can see the size advantage right away for Lycoming. That's 6'7" jumping against 6'3". Warriors with the ball in blue and gold, and we are underway.
And Gordon, I think these first 5 minutes really important for the Aggies. When they played here last time, they fell behind 11-0 and 19-4, could never get out of it. And, their first time in a playoff atmosphere. Lycoming's been there, done that. They've won back-to-back championships, so they know what to expect. This first 5 minutes is going to be huge for Del Valle.
Harward down low, dumps it over the top of the rim for 2. And the Warriors are on the scoreboard. Harward tied with Stephen Hamilton for the team lead in points per game at 13, 15 double-doubles on the season for Harward. That is in the top 20 in all of Division III. Jordan Gomes pass to Guy, and Guy lays it up for 2.
Aggies love that back cut. That's one of the staples of this offense, constant movement, that back cut, quick cuts, quick movement. It's there a lot for this team.
Lycoming gets the ball across half court. The Warriors have struggled with turnovers this year, committing 5 more per game than they force on their opponents. Harward drives in, shot partially blocked. Nestor Diaz ties him up. And the senior from Spring City creates the change of possession for Del Valle.
So it looks like the Aggies putting Pernell Guy, their biggest body in the starting lineup, on Harward to start. First possession down, tried to front him, and they had to lob over the top with no help from behind. So see if the Aggies stick with that. See how they're gonna guard Harward, one of the biggest bodies in the league.
Mentioned 8 seniors or grad students in the Aggies starting lineup. This is not one of them, Godly Mark. Junior outside for Gomes, and now we've pretty much mentioned the 2 guys who are not seniors. As ball knocked away. Good diving play from Mo Terry. Aggies retain possession with 13 seconds on the shot clock. Marked inbound underneath his own basket. Matt Paulus gets Olodogwe off his feet. The shot's no good, and Stephen Hamilton with the rebound. Hamilton down the floor. Sophomore loses the ball, and Godly Mark, who's one of the best thieves, and I mean that in a good way, in Division III, with yet another steal, top 10 in the country in that respect.
And he's 9 away from the school record for season steals.
Diaz for 3. That is off the mark for Nestor. And Harward off the ball saved by Hamilton. Drive in. Mo Terry's shot is no good. And Guy gives it up to Mark. Mark has it stripped away. Harward with the loose ball recovery. 2 points apiece. 2 minutes and 15 seconds in. Harward can shoot that. The Aggies would be okay allowing their 6'7" guy to just stay outside the arc if he's willing to do that.
And now Paulus got switched on to Harward. They're going to need to send some help down there.
Terry for 3. No, and Godly Mark snaps up a rebound.
Boxed out by Jordan Gomes on Harward there.
Paulus and a reach around and a foul committed by Stephen Hamilton. We talked about the fact that the Aggies seem to be peaking at the right time. I'm not sure the opposite is entirely true, but the Warriors have dropped 3 of their last 5, starting with a loss at home to Del Valle. Alternated wins and losses over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, they started in the conference 6-2, and like you said, alternated wins and losses, 4-4 down the stretch.
Really difficult non-conference schedule for the Warriors. Played 3 top 25 teams. Nestor Diaz for Guy. Guy guarded very closely by Terry. Line drive jumper is good.
Guy likes to operate from that free throw area. He gets the ball, faces up, sizes up his defender, doesn't really rush that shot, likes to take his time from there and see what the defense gives him.
Guy 2 for 2, Aggies 4-2 lead. Harward, who had the first basket, hands off for Olodogwe. This is Matt Olodogwe, his brother Moses also on the team. Very biblical names there. Over the rim, but good for 2 for DeAndre Manuel. 4 points apiece. Ibadapo in the game for Del Val. Ibadapo's played really well, but right there, Harward takes it away from the graduate student from Sicklerville, New Jersey. Elodogwe, number 1 in the conference in threes made per game, but he won't get one there. Mark for Paulus. Ibadapo calling for the ball on the smaller Terry. Gee for 3, and that's off the mark. And Elodogwe with the rebound.
Elodogwe, like you said, number 1 in the conference in threes. He'll shoot them up. He shoots it at just 33%, but he will get his fair share up.
Manuel slices through the defense. Yet another position where the Warriors have a size advantage. Nestor Diaz being asked to cover DeAndre Manuel, who's 6'6". Mark for Ibadapo. Aggies down by 2. Gets him in the air. Shot blocked by Manuel. DeAndre Manuel playing very well early on. 4 points, block, and a rebound for the junior from Brooklyn, New York. Elodogwe runs himself out of bounds. Nope,
looks like
it's
a foul.
pushed. Had some help. Ibadapo picks up the foul, his first. 3 subs in for Delaware Valley, so not quite 5 in. Well, 5 in, 5 out. They're going to leave Ibadapo and Diaz out there. But you get Ryan Black appearing in his 19th game of the season, senior guard from Horsham, Pennsylvania. Ewens Lazima, junior guard from Bayonne, New Jersey, appearing in his 23rd game of the year. And Francis Robles Montas as the 3 is up and no good for Mo Terry. Aggies come down the floor down by 2.
It's that second unit. Coach Cobb will run out. Ed Jones, usually the 10th guy off the bench, still not in the game, but expect to see him out there a decent amount tonight.
Diaz loses the handle. Mo Terry down the floor. Drive in DeAndre Manuel. Would have taken an extra step on his way to the rim. Ewens Lazima commits the foul.
That's a couple times now. The Aggies, multiple players, just kind of getting the ball poked away from them.
Yeah.
Up by the free throw line. Warriors really putting pressure on when they catch the ball. They're not letting them to operate with much space, and I'm not sure if the Aggies weren't prepared for that because they're kind of on their heels a little bit, and with those turnovers.
Manuel, a 54% free throw shooter. DeAndre hits the first. Averages 10 points, 6.5 rebounds per game. 24th game played, 23rd start. Manuel's got 6 points. He's got the last 6 points. And Coach K going to call a 30-second timeout to talk things over.
And Gordon, we mentioned how Lycoming pretty much only goes 6 deep and the Aggies play 10 deep. And one of the things that allows Lycoming to do that, they don't commit a ton of fouls. Out of 24 games, they've committed 20 or more fouls just 4 times. The Aggies, on the other hand, in half of their games have committed 20 or more fouls.
Yeah.
And obviously with their style, that's going to happen. But to stay out of foul trouble for Lycoming throughout most of the year allows them to play that shorter bench and not put themselves in danger. And so far, it's very early, but just 1 foul in just 5 minutes. And I know we've seen that a lot of times. Pernell Gee will find himself in foul trouble in that aggressive style. More early on in the year, he's gotten better with that, and I think that goes with how the team has made the adjustments as the year has gone on.
Lycoming has brought in that 6th guy in their rotation. The sophomore swingman from Danville, Pennsylvania, Maven James is checked in. That's James, number 14 right there, who rubs off the Ryan Black screen. Ibadapo for Black. Robles Montas, who's struggled from 3 over the last couple of games. Ball poked away out of bounds by Mo Terry in front of the Lycoming bench.
Looks like a little 2-3 zone here from the Warriors, and assistant coach Austin Stokel talking to him, he said, and they went through the scouting report, all year Lycoming played zone 5% of the time, all year, and it usually, here's the 1-3-1 that I was gonna bring up. They bring out a 1-3-1, but they're mainly a man team. Robles
Montas from the foul line, no good. Mo Terry with the rebound. Aggies scoreless for the last 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Warriors on a 6-0 run. Hamilton, guarded very close speed by Lazima. Manuel has had the hot hands off. Manuel drives in, shot blocked, and DeAndre Manuel commits the charge as Ryan Black absorbs it. First foul on Manuel. Picture perfect help defense from Ryan Black. He saw the pick and roll,
took a step, got outside the restricted area, and got set. He left his man go way in the corner, and beautifully done by Ryan Black.
Warriors going to go a little smaller now. Manuel checks out. Elodegwe returns. Ewens Lazima down the floor.
So they're going back to the man-to-man defense.
Ibadapo spin move. Puts it over the rim. Shot no good. Last touch by Robles Montas out of bounds.
Well, Thomas might have got hit on the arm there, but he does like to go to that second and third move. He goes underneath, pump fake once, twice, and just couldn't finish there. Yeah, Aggies a little in the basket here in the first 6 minutes.
8-4 Lycoming. Hamilton with the ball. Forward. Let's go to Terry down low instead. Ball stripped away as Hamilton went up. Fourth turnover by the Warriors. Lazima will pull it out. Elodegwe shuts off the fast break. Lazima. Elodegwe again picks him up and takes it away. Fourth turnover by the Aggies. Elodegwe for Hamilton. Back for Elodegwe, a pair of sophomore there. And now Hamilton will reset. Almost 4-minute scoring drought now for the Aggies. James, who's a three-point specialist, has that one rattle out. Warriors are 0 for 4 to start the game from behind the arc. Aggies have only attempted 2. Ibadapo, that one's going to count off the glass for a goaltending violation on Harward.
That's a good job by Ibadapo. If he sees Harward back under the basket, if he can beat him down the floor and get that position where he just did, run right to the rim and get the Aggies some easy baskets, because they need some of those to get going here offensively.
See if the Aggies change their attack now. They bring in the starters plus Edward Jones, who's in for the first time. Warriors have put Harward on the bench. DeAndre Manuel back out. The Warriors lead 8-6. Hamilton gets himself in trouble but gets it off. Elodegwe for Maven James. Terry. Elodegwe for 3. No. Terry battling for the rebound. Last touch by Terry.
Warriors getting some decent looks for some of their better three-point shooters, and I don't think they're too upset with how their offense is running. They're just not hitting shots right now.
Warriors 0 for 5 from behind the arc. Paulus for Jones. Guarded by Maven James. Mark draws the contact. Shot off the glass. Looking to draw a foul there was Godley. And Hamilton gets it off for Terry. Maven James for Manuel, who's fouled and nearly got that one to fall. Matt Paulus tangled up with Manuel, will go to the line.
I think they're going to call that on the floor, actually.
Oh, okay.
So it was very close. I think Paulus made contact before he had possession. I don't even know how he got that up near the rim like that.
Hamilton. Good defense from Gomes. And good defense from Jones. He will chase it down, but have to just reset the offense. Delaware Valley down by 2. And nearly a turnover there. Gomes saves it from going out of bounds. Guarded by the smaller Hamilton. And I think the first one was a foul and the second one wasn't, but they reversed that. And the Aggies will be okay with that because that's Manuel's second.
That's his second personal foul. Team's third. Jordan Gomes.
It's going to put the Warriors a little deeper into their bench.
Yeah. Jordan Gomes at the free throw line. First one is good. Gomes still listed as a freshman, played last year from New Foundations Charter School in Philadelphia. 19th start of the year, 57% free throw shooter for the counseling psychology major, who's in this one very long freshman season has really developed his footwork and his game.
Yeah, and that's the patent. Jordan Gomes will pump fake down low. He loves going to that move.
Warriors have brought out a new body. Luke Finkbeiner in, the junior guard from Warrington, Virginia, appears. This is just the 11th game of the season for Finkbeiner. Terry open 3. That is no good. Rebound Maven James. Terry struggling early. He's 0 for 4. Terry guarded very closely by Gee. Lodogwe, Terry, James for three. And that one won't fall.
Again, two good looks for good shooters.
Gomes drives in. Terry on him, and Harward helps on defense. Traveling violation on Delaware Valley. 5th turnover of the game for the Aggies. 8-7 Lycoming. Delaware Valley won for their last 6, and that one was a goaltending shot, or a goaltending violation.
Yeah, I think this one's going much more like the second matchup, not like 97-88.
Yeah, we're not on pace for 100.
No, we are not. And that was much earlier in the season, where we kind of alluded to before, where the Aggies were still trying to figure out. And
we're not on pace for 50 right
no,
now. It's 8-7. Lodogwe drives in, shoots it over the top of the rim, and good from Matthew Lodogwe.
The Aggies are doing such a great job until that possession with the help side defense. And that time, no one was there. It looked like off-ball men were busy watching the guy they were guarding and not seeing where the ball was.
Gomes drives in, tough shot. He's hit by Harward. And that's a foul on him. Gomes will go back to the free throw line.
I think head coach Mike McGarvey, he's telling his guys, don't jump for the pump fake.
Right.
You're taller than him. Stand up straight. Make him shoot over you. We've seen it possession after possession with Gomes. He goes to the pump fake, gets the guys to jump.
Yeah, he rarely shoots on the first move.
No, very rarely. And I'm sure, I guarantee they went over that in film throughout the week. This guy goes to the block, pump fakes.
Gomes the only Aggie to attempt a free throw so far. He's 2 for 4 from the line. Aggies within 2. Here comes the full court press. As Lodogwe eases off to see if he can find a way through, and he does. Forward for 3. No. Long rebound for Stephen Hamilton. The Warriors are 0 for 8 from behind the arc. Lodogwe for James. Finkbeiner will try it. That is no good. Harward with the rebound. 3 up and good, finally. Warriors able to break through. That's a Lodogwe for 3, and the Warriors have a 5-point lead.
You knew it was a matter of time before one of the shooters was going to knock an open shot down. Especially you're going to give them 3 chances in one possession. It's usually not going to turn out well.
Diaz for Paulus, the Aggies' leading 3-point shooter. That's off the mark. And a good block out by Luke Finkbeiner there, although the foul will be on away from the ball. I did not pick up who that foul was on, did you?
Pernell Gee.
Oh, okay. 4th on Delaware Valley, 13-8 Warriors, who have a 5-point lead despite shooting 29% from the field and 1 for 10 from 3. The Aggies obviously not setting the world on fire themselves. 3 for 11, and it's been a long time since they've seen a shot go through the rim, other than a free throw.
And they got a decent look for their best 3-point shooter, Matt Paulus, and he couldn't knock it down.
Harward for Hamilton. Maven James with the ball, guarded by Paulus. Now Harward will work on Ibadapo. Outside, Diaz comes to help. Hamilton uncomfortable. Shot clock down to 2. Hamilton lofts it up. No. Harward's shot, no.
Should be shot clock violation.
Yeah, should be a shot clock violation.
They're going to talk about it. That 12 did not hit the rim.
Yeah. The first shot was a line drive to Harward. Harward is lining up saying I was fouled, but I don't think he's going to win this argument. No. Yeah. I don't know why the buzzer did not go off.
Gordon, here, I was just going to bring this up. I'm usually across the way doing PA up with the sound system, and before the game, the referees, they check the levels of the shot clock, and this has to be the quietest shot clock in all of college basketball, because men's games, women's games, every set of officials, they hear it with no music when there's not many people in the gym still, and they look at each other going, that's it?
Yeah.
And then they laugh and say, all right, that's what it is. So the referees know coming into the game that you're not going to hit a shot clock in the game. So It went off. I'm pretty sure it went off. You're just not going to hear it.
Ibadapo, who can shoot the three a little bit, will not hear. Aggies down by 5, 8:43 to play in a very low-scoring first half. Ibadapo open look for three. No. And Harward another rebound and is fouled by Lycoming. Frustrated with himself. 5th foul on Delaware Valley, so not free throws yet. Dyson Harward has 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. Just 2 points.
And that's Lycoming's 2nd foul now. And like you said, he's frustrated. And that frustrates the coaching staff when you commit it 85 feet away from the basket. You're not going to get the steal.
13-8. And the Aggies have not made a field goal unless you want to count the goaltending play. And since about the 4-minute mark, there's a 3 off, but another offensive rebound for the Warriors. They've got 5. 3 on the way, up, no good, and another offensive rebound for the Warriors. Warriors getting 3 chances per possession here.
The Aggies are getting what they want. They're getting the missed shots, and they're just getting outworked for the ball sometimes, it looks like. Finkbeiner providing some great minutes off the bench for the Warriors.
This is Finkbeiner here. Hamilton into the lane and a layup for 2. 15-8. Warriors lead by 7. Delaware Valley has not played sharp here as Ibadapo last touched that apparently. Jordan Gomes, Pernell Guillen, Ibadapo, and Robles Montas to the bench. Warriors right now with Elodegwe, Hamilton, James, Finkbeiner, and Harward. DeAndre Manuel sitting with 2 fouls. He's got 6 points. Mo Terry's sitting. He doesn't have any fouls, but he's 0 for the night. Elodegwe really lost his footing there. Godley Mark not quite able to get it away from Hamilton. Harward with the size advantage. Finkbeiner slips it off. Ryan Black breaks it up.
Ryan Black's been playing some great minutes the last couple weeks, knocking down some shots right there with a good defensive break up there to get the steal.
Gomes, Finkbeiner on him, shot blocked, and Elodegwe nearly throws it off the face of Finkbeiner. Godley Mark, last touched by Delaware Valley.
And Gomes there, he had 2 or 3 guys on him. And he goes to that jump stop, and I think someone's got to yell out where the double's coming from so he can kick it out. He's trying to go right up to 2 or 3 guys.
Someone has to be open.
Sometimes 2 guys are open. And I think maybe this is where you get that younger team playoff experience-wise, I should say, where maybe they're just a little amped up. Just calm down a little bit. See the floor a little more. Maybe things are just being rushed a little bit.
You mentioned the fact that the Warriors started fast and had a 19-2 lead the first time they played. It won't get that high that quickly, but Warriors with a big lead to start. James, another miss and another offensive opportunity. James slips it off to nobody. Godley Mark tears it away. Gomes with the rebound. 1-on-3. As Seaman Hamilton thwarts that fast break.
The Aggies, they're fortunate to be down 7, giving up this many offensive rebounds. The
Warriors are 1 for 14 from behind the arc.
And a lot of open looks.
Yeah. Diaz drives in, and again, the Aggies just continue to drive into double teams, seemingly without really a plan. I don't know what Nestor's going to do on the much taller Harward if he gets to the spot he's trying to get to. Gomes checks out. Thomas Ibadapo back in. Matt Paulison, Nestor Diaz to the bench. Delaware Valley's last made field goal officially was 13:01. The last one that was really made, as in gone through the rim, was with 4 minutes gone. So it's been almost 10 minutes. Well, more than 10 minutes since that's been the case. Still down just 7. James for Hamilton. Hamilton gets to the rim. Swift lays it up and good. Stephen Hamilton with the basket. And the Warriors expand the lead to 9. It's 17-8.
Yeah, right. Help defense just too late. Paulus came over, but all he could do was try to swipe with the ball in midair, and his rotation was a little too late, and Aggies got to withstand this deficit here and claw their way back into it.
Thomas Ibadapo, who's demonstrated touches last couple of games, splashes that through. 1 for 5. The Aggies break the long scoring drought. Mark unable to get to it. And Maven James will eventually give it off for a Lodogwe.
And they barely got that across. There was 21 on the shot clock when they crossed the timeline there.
Forward, it's Gee off his feet, and Gee grabs onto him as he's running by. It's the second on Purnell. And the 6th foul on Delaware Valley, so next one will be 1-1 for the Warriors.
We'll see if they keep Gee on the floor with 2 fouls.
Timeout taken here. We can give you 2 final scores for these 2 universities' women's programs. DeSales defeats Delaware Valley tonight, a final score of 93-42. So DeSales advances to play in the MAC Freedom semifinals against either Misericordia or Wilkes. And on the Lycoming side of it, their season also over in women's basketball. Stevens defeating Lycoming 59-37 in that one. So Stevens will play the winner of Kings and Arcadia. These games started with this one. One other men's game underway. And the 6th seed Misericordia with a 10-point lead. Not too far from here in Glenside at Arcadia, 43-33.
How about that?
Yeah, the Knights are the 3 seed.
Complete opposite scoring, 43-33 with 4 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah.
A little bit different than that, than what we got going on here.
Hamilton. And a traveling violation on Hamilton. Hamilton, a really good young player. The one flaw in his game is he commits a lot of turnovers. He's now approaching 100 turnovers on the season. I think that's turnover number 892 on the year.
For the Aggies, still have Purnell Gee on the floor. The board after his last foul shows 1 foul, but the stats do show 2.
Godley marked for 3. That is no good. Ibadapo got his entire arm around the ball, but was unable to pull it in. 17-10. Hamilton floats it in the lane. No. Hollis tips it to himself. Hamilton 2 for 5. Ibadapo works on Harward. Mark thinks about 3. Aggies have attempted 5, haven't made one yet. Gee will take a 6th. That is off the mark. And it's 17-10 Lycoming as we had under 4 minutes to play in the first half. Lodogwe. Lob for Harward. Terry James 3. No, Harward, a one-arm rebound. The ball stripped away as he brought the ball down. Either Diaz or Ibadapo got to it. And the Warriors are going to take Harward out and bring DeAndre Manuel back in. So Manuel has 2 fouls, Gee has 2 fouls, and those 2 guys are matched up with each other right now. Well, not anymore.
James, a 40% three-point shooter, struggling to knock one down. Some great looks for him, shooting at that clip, one of the tops in the conference. And
yeah, he's 0 for 4. Lodogwe is 1 for 4. Terry is 0 for 3, stolen away by Lazima. And Lazima will slow things down. Aggies will try and get something going in the final 3:22 of the half, down by 7. Only 10 points for Del Val. Paulus, pass to Diaz. Diaz gets by his defender and lays it up for 2.
Aggies finally got into their set there, but they're getting beat down the court, though.
Now that run was very short-lived. Manuel with an easy basket the other way. DeAndre has 8 and back to a 7-point deficit.
Yeah, and that's where, if you're going to press like the Aggies always do, you have to make sure all 5 know where they're supposed to be at each time. Someone there not in the right spot.
Pernell Gee hits a three. First three of the game for the Aggies. 7 for Gee. Aggies down by 4. 2:41 to play here in a low-scoring first half. 19-15, James for Manuel, as Gee is giving him all the space in the world. Terry, ball poked away. Diaz wrestling for it. And possession arrow in favor of Delaware Valley. If there was a statistic for most jump balls created, Nestor Diaz would lead that.
And he's always one of the first ones on the floor. And right there, 4 Aggies and just 1 Warrior on the floor for that loose ball. And that's something that Coach Cobb's got to love to see. All his guys getting on the floor, knowing that every possession is so vital in a playoff game.
Andre Manuel will head to the bench with 2:26 to play. Harward back out as Coach Mike McGarvey, who was an All-American point guard at Ursinus College. With a short bench here, won the conference title last year, 5-2 with the Warriors in the COVID-shortened season, and won a different conference title the year before that with a 20-9 record. And the Warriors eliminated in the first round of the NCAA tournament by Elmhurst of Illinois. Hadley Mark. He drives through and is Harward with the block. Hamilton down the floor, 1-on-5. Aggies were trying to get it within 2. Looked like he had an advantage there before Harward swatted it away. 1:49 to play. Harward guarded by Gee. Gives it off for Terry. A little give and go. Harward loses the handle. Under the defense, nope, taken away, and Harward takes a swing at Lazima. No foul called. Lazima goes up, and that went off of, they're going to say, Lycoming.
Looked like that went off of Lazima's knee. Yeah. Maybe that's one of those where it's not, I don't think it's the right thing to do, but the ref said could have called the foul, could have been off Del Val.
We'll split the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Harward sits down, Manuel back in. So a very quick rotation here with the 2 big men for Lycoming. Delaware Valley, as 4 as they've shot, down just 4. Diaz looking to post up the shorter Olodogwe.
He does have a size advantage there. Not known as a post-up player.
No. Mark for 3. No. And Maven James with the rebound. Warriors out rebounding Delaware Valley. Pull up the right game here in terms of statistics. 22-9. Hamilton. Help defense as Mark takes a swing at it. Shot's no good for Manuel, but DeAndre will head back to the free throw line. And that's Pernell Gee's 3rd, so there's that gamble.
That is his second.
It is his second, okay. Well, I don't know if they made an adjustment then.
The book is always official.
The live stats have him at 3, though. So
I think that'll get changed. So he was on the floor with 1 foul that whole time.
Okay. Lazima and Nestor Diaz to the bench. Ryan Black and Matt Paulus return. Iguodalo will check in, and Pernell will not pick up another foul, at least for the moment. 67 seconds to play. Manuel, a 54% free throw shooter, but not tonight. 3 for 3, and 3 for 3 from the floor.
And Gordon, you mentioned Lycoming out-rebounding Del Val 22-9. And in the first matchup where Lycoming won, they out-rebounded Del Val 44-26. So that was the difference there.
Warriors out-rebounding their opponents this year by 5. Mark, bad pass taken away by Manuel as a 5-point deficit for Delaware Valley. 21-second differential between shot and game clock. Hamilton off a Mark, or off a Manuel screen. Hamilton, I'm not sure how that wasn't a travel. Mo Terry for 3. No, Iguodalo tips it to Robles Montas. Shot clock is off. Game clock shows 22 seconds. Aggies will try and get this to 3 or less before the half. Hadley Mark. They'll dribble this all the way down inside 10 seconds. Goes by Hamilton, and lucky that that's a blocking foul because Mark did not appear to be fully in control there. Just the 5th foul on the Warriors and the first on Mo Terry. 5.3 seconds to play. Manuel out, Harward in. Manuel 9 points here in a low-scoring game to lead everyone. Ryan Black, he travels. Mr. Diaz and Edward Jones will check in. Paulus and Ryan Black to the bench.
Now this is where Aggies, they will bring up that full court press like they always do, but with 4 seconds, let them catch in the backcourt. Do not be over aggressive and let them get a full head of steam down the court. Let them catch it far, far away.
Well, stolen away by Mark, stolen away by Hamilton. Hamilton off glass, no, and that might be the best way to encapsulate this first period.
How about it, Gordon?
The Warriors have 8 field goals. They commit 11 turnovers. They're 1 for 16 from 3, and they lead by 5, 20-15, because the Aggies had 6 field goals and 9 turnovers and were 1 for 8 from 3.
It was not by any means a pretty half of basketball. This is a low-scoring game at any level of basketball.
Yeah.
And I think Del Val, in my eyes, they have to feel kind of lucky that they're only down 5. They let up way too many offensive rebounds, way too many open three-point shots to good three-point shooters.
Right.
To find yourself down by 5, you have to be very happy and realize that, guys, we got to play better than that. We shouldn't be down by only 5. But also, on the flip side of things, be happy that you didn't play good at all,
right,
and you're only down 5. So you have a lot of room to turn things around. And for Lycoming, offensively, I wouldn't change a whole lot of what they're running. They're getting their looks.
You just got to figure a team that shoots 32% from 3 is not going to shoot
1 for
16 in the second half. But they do in the first half, and so Lycoming leads Delaware Valley by just 5. We'll take a break. Come back in about 10 minutes, get you your full set of statistics and a look around the Middle Atlantic Freedom Conference Tournament scoreboard for you. This is Aggies Basketball 2022. Well, earlier this year, DeSales scored 16 points in the first half against Wilkes, and we looked at that score and said, how is that possible? Now we know Delaware Valley.
We have witnessed it.
Delaware Valley does them one better or one worse, depending on how you look at it. 20-15, the Aggies with just 15 points in the first half. The Warriors not exactly setting the scoring records on fire either. Let's get you a quick rundown of the Middle Atlantic Freedom Conference scoreboard. Both of these programs had their women's team eliminated from the Freedom Conference tournament tonight. Delaware Valley losing at DeSales, Lycoming losing at Stevens, so the number 1 and 2 seeds in the conference advance. And it looks like 3 and 4 will join them in about 40 minutes or so, or 30 minutes or so. Kings leading Arcadia 36-27 in Wilkes-Barre, and Misericordia, the 4 seed, leading Wilkes, the 5 seed in women. Again, these are women's scores, 26-14. Only one other men's game in action because of those DeSales-Stevens doubleheaders. Those games haven't started their men's game yet. And it's the exact opposite of this.
How about this?
Misericordia leads Arcadia 59-33. And if you're wondering how, the Warriors are shooting 87% from 3. 13 of 15 from behind the arc. Elijah Rosenthal has 18 points. Kevin Lazdowski has 23. So they're single-handedly basically outscoring Arcadia, who's not shooting that badly. But there's no defensive answer for 87% from 3. So in this game, numbers a little different. Lycoming 8 of 27 in the first half, 1 of 16 from behind the arc, 3 of 4 from the foul line for really one guy, DeAndre Manuel. The Warriors out-rebound the Aggies 22-11, and Delaware Valley did not have a single offensive rebound in the first half. Aggies shoot 6 of 20 from the floor, 1 of 8 from 3, and again, similar to the Warriors, just one guy to the foul line. It was Jordan Gomes. He was 2 for 4. Aggies' assist to turnover ratio were a -5, a 4 up to 9 down. The Warriors were a -8, 3 up to 11 down. And obviously at 20-15, there's not a lot to talk about in terms of individual standouts. But DeAndre Manuel, despite playing with 2 fouls in only 9 minutes, had 9 points. He also drew 4 fouls on Delaware Valley, 3 for 3 from the floor, 3 from 4 from the foul line. He didn't have a single rebound, which given that he's 6'7" is a little odd. But he did have a shot block. For Delaware Valley, it's Pernell Gee. He had 7 points, just 1 rebound for Pernell. And, well, Brad, if you're looking at what needs to go better, a lot. But for starters, your backcourt can't go 0 for 5 and scoreless in the second half.
Yeah, and the Warriors have turned the ball over 11 times, and the Aggies have come away with 8 steals, but only 3 points off the turnovers. So right there, I mean, credit to Lycoming. They're getting back on defense. They're not allowing those transition points. But if you're the Aggies, you're forcing turnovers. The first time these two teams played, the Aggies won the turnover battle 27-13, but still gave up 97 points. So the Warriors don't let the turnovers really affect them. The Aggies need to create these turnovers and create them into points. That's something they do a lot throughout the year, but tonight and against the Warriors in general, they're unable to, and that's going to be big as Pernell Gee picks up his 3rd foul.
Well, Gee does take a swipe and commit a foul. That is his 3rd, the only guy besides Pernell that has 2 fouls, Ewens Lazima. And then DeAndre Manuel has 2, and Gee, not deterred by that, takes another swipe.
And you know they're going to put Harward, they're going to put him in the post against Gee and try to get him to commit his 4th foul.
Hamilton, one of several guys who struggled in the first half. He finished with 4 points on 2 for 5 shooting. He hits that one. And the Warriors back to their largest lead at 7, 22-15. Paulus with the floater. And the Aggies backcourt gets their first points of the night. And it's 22-17. Lodogwe had 5 points in the first half. Mo Terry took the offer. That's Terry there. And he fixes that with a 3. The Warriors 1 for 16 in the first half, 1 for 1 in the second.
Both teams good starts offensively to this half.
And Hamilton commits the foul. That is Stevens' 2nd. Largest lead of the game for either team. Aggies had a 4-2 lead. Paulus goes up and he draws the foul on Harward, who The official gave him the look of don't even try. There was a lot of contact there, and Harward, after a moment of reflection, says that's on me.
And Paul is obviously known as a three-point shooter around the league. Warriors know that. And on that pick and roll, they're really coming out hard, going over the top of it. And Paulus is adjusting nicely, getting to the basket. He hit the floater before, and changing things up, trying to get to the basket, something he normally doesn't do. But so far, so good in these first two offensive possessions.
We mentioned Mike McGarvey was an All-American point guard at Ursinus. That's where Paulus started his career. Somebody seated to the left of me has a Ursinus warm-up jacket on, so I'm guessing they're from the same family. 25-18. Paulus, a rare miss from the foul line. Shoots 78% from there. Shot, I guess that was a shot, high in the air, doesn't hit anything.
Another offensive rebound.
Olodogwe for Manuel. Manuel blows by Gomes and scores. Second chance points, 9-0. And 9 is incidentally the lead for the Warriors, 27-18. Paulus for Godly Mark. Gomes, Ibadapo for three. No. Great box out by DeAndre Manuel, who now has his first rebound of the game.
You can see why the Warriors rebound so well. Multiple guys all night. They box out tremendously.
Mark pokes it away out of bounds. Warriors looking for the first double-digit lead of the night. They're 3 for 4 to start the second half.
I know Ibadapo's been heating up in downtown the last few games, but Harward and the Warriors really letting him out there.
Oh, Hamilton, a pretty move. And Stephen Hamilton now with 8 points, and it's an 11-point lead, and starting to get to a dangerous point here for Del Val, who's got 18 points with 18 minutes to go. Ibadapo gets the move inside and then just loses the handle. Hamilton calls for the ball. Aggies don't pick him up. He fires away from deep. And, Harward with a clothesline to Matt Paulus. And Dyson Harward picks up his third foul. So the Aggies will take good news anywhere they can get it, and Harward will have a seat.
And somehow still tried to argue that call.
Yeah, he started.
I'm totally sure.
I think he short-circuited his own argument. He's like, I did hit him. I did punch him in the face.
Might have hit the ball first, and then half a second later, put Paulus on his backside. But that's big right there, putting Harward on the bench with 3 fouls, and Ibadapo quickly back to the bench.
Gee with an ugly shot that Diaz rebounds and then Gee gets the much better second opportunity. Aggies cut the lead to 9.
The Aggies have a chance now with Harward on the bench. Not a ton of size on the floor for Lycoming. They can try to get to the hoop more and get that shot. There's no shot blocker down there with Harward, so Purnell can try to get to the basket if Tom's in there.
Terry slips it off for James, stolen away. Gee in front of the pack. One on none. He seems to wait, and it works. He goads Maven James into a mind-blowing foul. I look over at the bench at McGarvey, and he makes the little head explosion gesture like that was clear what he was doing, and it worked.
And Gordon, I know, I was thinking, I'm not sure if you were, we've seen Purnell
throw it down.
Try to throw it down.
Well,
first half of the year, he might have been 50% on the dunks, and I'm thinking, just lay it in.
Yeah.
Don't go for the dunk. And smart move, very smart move right there. Try to get the defender to bite on the foul, and James didn't fully lay off, and it worked out.
Didn't commit. Gee converts the three-point play. 5 quick points from Purnell, who does have 3 fouls. And so he'll sit to the disgruntlement of the Aggies fans, but they can't afford for him to pick up a 4th. And Moteri hands it to the wrong team. Diaz, no. Oh, my, big missed opportunity there. And Olodogwe steps out of bounds or travels. So the Aggies will have another shot here. Boy, Nestor Diaz, that's closer than point blank.
He got up there pretty good, too. Got his hand right up on the rim. I don't know how it didn't go down.
Ibadapo for Nestor Diaz for Robles Montas. Ibadapo works on the smaller Manuel. And a traveling violation on Ibadapo. First time the Delaware Valley crowd really getting into the game. Aggies down by about to be more than 6.
And that is what cannot happen, especially off a dead ball turnover where you have time to set your defense. You cannot let the last guy beating the press wide open down the court. That's just where someone's not in the right spot. And with different units and different rotations, you're going to have guys who have to play different spots.
Ibadapo for 3 answers, atones for the defensive gap on the last possession, and gets the Aggies within 5 again. It's 31-26. Well, the teams, after shooting miserably in the first half, I did not see what happened there, but
there's someone in a hot dog costume.
Oh, okay.
A kid who's getting the crowd fired up.
I could go
there
for
he
a
goes
hot dog.
across the front.
Cheerleaders got to be thinking, we do flips in practice all day.
Exactly.
All we needed to do was put on a hot dog outfit. That would have been enough.
The world's a weird place nowadays, Gordon. People get excited for many different things.
I want to take a moment to send well wishes to Eric Hitch. He normally joins us for these broadcasts. Eric battling through the flu. We hope he feels better and is able to get out there on the baseball field for some Aggies baseball from Frank Wolfgang Field. This is one of the few times where you can mention the guy's name and he's sitting right over there. Teams work? Not.
They're supposed to start up this Saturday.
Yeah.
Supposed to host the City College of New York. Weather Friday, cold temperatures don't look promising. But still scheduled as of now. Men's lacrosse hosting Lebanon Valley Saturday. That's a home contest at 1 o'clock.
Full day. Warriors break the timeout with Maven James, Stephen Hamilton, Mo Terry, Matt Elodegwe, and DeAndre Manuel. Same 5 that they went into the break with. Harward sitting with 3 fouls. Manuel has 2. Terry gets it into James. Mo Terry gets it back. Francis Robles Montas on him. Terry brings it across the timeline. Manuel wants to get it to James, gets it to Hamilton instead. Hamilton drives into trouble, and a jump ball will turn it back over to Delaware Valley unless they forgot to reset the arrow. Nope, there it is.
Really good help defense there for multiple defenders. Diaz, Ibadapo there. A couple times in the first half, they let a couple Warriors get to the hoop, and no one was there to step in that time. They're not letting that same mistake happen again. And Gordon, you mentioned when it got to 11, it was kind of danger time, and the Aggies really responded nicely.
Ibadapo not quite on the same page with Ewan's Lazima.
And that pass that they do, that back cut, it's such a timing play, because a lot of times it looks like they're covered, and it's just that little sliver because the defender's back is turned, and he's actually open, but both guys kind of have to be on the same page.
Godly mark, off the mark, no pun intended. Hamilton over for Elodegwe. That was 5 points in the first half. Elodegwe guarded very closely by Godly Mark. Manuel passes it up. Maven James for 3. No, and Mark with the rebound. 2 on 3. Lazima steps through, and Mo Terry swats that away, and then Lazima commits his 3rd foul. Gonna commiserate with the boy in the hot dog outfit.
And that's his 2nd foul where he's committed far, far away after a missed shot or after a turnover. So they put him to the bench with 3 and Gee back on the floor with 3.
Lazima on the season has only attempted 10 free throws all year, so not a super aggressive guy on offense.
More of an energizer on defense.
31-26, Terry loses it, stumbles around, broken play, Elodegwe for 3, and ends up working out just fine. Elodegwe with 10 points now, and the Warriors back to an 8-point lead with Harward still sitting and watching. Diaz for Paulus, Pernell Gee for 3. No, but Pernell unable to get to the rebound. Elodegwe has it instead. Here's Matt Elodegwe, gets Gee off his feet, kicks out Terry for 3. No, and Nestor Diaz with the defensive rebound. 34-26, 14 minutes to play, and Terry picks up the foul. That is the Warriors' 5th. Aggies are not an exceptionally good free throw shooting team, but
they only committed 5 fouls in the whole first half.
Yeah.
Lycoming did. Much of the opposite. Aggies only with 2 fouls through the first 6 minutes of this half, so maybe they can take advantage in that aspect.
Ibadapo for Paulus. Paulus back for Thomas. Thomas will shoot it. No. And Paulus going to get called for the foul on Elodegwe.
Tom, he's been shooting the ball well lately, but that is, you cannot doubt his confidence.
Well, DeAndre Manuel had some words for Ibadapo, who is giving him back to DeAndre,
And Ibadapo, he's got to be careful a little bit. He was kind of getting in Emmanuel's ear there, and he's going to head to the bench. That was a step back, fadeaway 3 from Tom. Not quite sure if that's in the offensive game plan.
34-26, Aggies had it to 5. Warriors now can send it back to double digits. Elodegwe. No. And DeAndre Manuel, ball deflects around. Wadley Mark has it. Mark, tough shot, no. Gets his own rebound over his own teammate. Black will take a 3. That is way short.
The shot you want from him, though.
34-26. Mo Terry. As we approach the 13-minute mark, Dyson Harward gets set to check back in. So the Aggies had it at 8 when he left, and it's still there. Nathan James for Terry. Terry off glass. No, DeAndre Manuel with the follow. 13 points for Manuel. Back to a 10-point lead for Lycoming.
And that was Guy who helped Paulus initially on the shot, but then Manuel, who Guy was guarding, didn't get blocked out because Guy was on the help. So right there, it's tough luck for the Aggies.
Foul on Stephen Hamilton. That is his 3rd. Team 6th. Harward will come in. Nathan James to the bench. Ibadapo will return. Godley Mark to the bench. Ewens Lazima will return.
Yeah, I think Thomas, he almost has to be in there when Harwood's in there.
Yeah,
especially Guy with 3 fouls. He's going to play not as aggressive, and Harwood being the big body he is.
We have seen very little of Jordan Gomes in this half. He's 0 for 1 in the game with 2 points on free throws. Ibadapo, lots of ball fakes. Now hands it off for Paulus.
Here's the zone that Lycoming rarely plays.
Off glass, no. Lazima's follow, no. Lazima touches it, last touch by Delaware Valley, and the Aggies just cannot find any kind of offensive rhythm. He will step out to avoid picking up his 4th foul. Still 12-12 to play. But the Aggies continue to hover around 1 point per minute in terms of scoring. In fact, a little worse than that right now. Terry for Stephen Hamilton. Harward, as Mo Terry tries to post up the shorter Lazima.
We saw him do it to Paulus last possession.
Harward, well, he should have just run out the clock. Not sure it will mean anything, but all he really does there is burn a timeout because they still have 1 second on the shot clock.
And the thing is, with these shot clocks that don't show tenths of a second, you could be at 0.1 seconds right now and you don't even know it. So see what kind of play Lycoming draws up to get a shot off on a catch and shoot or maybe a little lob to the rim for Harward. But yeah, Aggies got it down to 5. Couple point-blank shots. Diaz got one.
Diaz layup, yeah.
That layup there. They got a couple turnovers. Lazima put back right there they couldn't get. So they got to 5, couldn't quite get over that hump, and now Lycoming kind of neutralized them.
Well, it's basically over in Glenside. As good a season as Arcadia has, there's no answer for a team shooting 80% from 3, which is what Mr. Accordia is basically doing.
Incredible.
Warriors, or rather, excuse me, the Cougars 81, Arcadia 51. That's a 6 over a 3.
16 of 21
And,
from
yeah,
three.
there's just no answer for that. Elijah Rosenthal has 24 points, 9 for 11 on 3.
They just hit another one as we're looking at it.
I'm saying his name, he hits another one.
Wow.
Well, Mr. Recordia going to advance. That's the weird thing about these games. I mean, these are two teams playing each other more or less close in a season where they split. Arcadia actually split with Mr. Recordia on the year, but no one would have predicted a 30-point loss. Warriors can get this to their largest lead, although, well, not on that play they can't. They made Harward shoot it. I wonder if that was intentional. All right.
Looked like they were trying.
You called the timeout. You have to take the shot.
Looked like they were trying to get Manuel down on the block for maybe a lob, but the Aggies, smartly so, they forced him to pass it out towards half court.
36-26, Delaware Valley. To say they're struggling offensively would be putting it kindly. Key, jumper, that is blocked. Ibadapo catches it. And Thomas puts it on the floor for some unknown reason. And the possession arrow gives it back to Lycoming. I don't know where Thomas is going dribbling the ball there, but the answer is nowhere. Montas in, Gee out.
They got Gee back on Harward here to put Ibadapo to the bench. And the Warriors probably licking their chops at this, trying to get Gee his 4th foul.
Lodogwe unable to touch it, and he just did get across the timeline. Luke Finkbeiner, who played some good minutes in the first half, checks back in. DeAndre Manuel checks out. They've been hovering here at 10 points for a while. It's what it is right now. Hamilton guarded very closely by Lazima, which is pretty much how everybody's guarded by Lazima. And
and Gee picks up. That's bang bang.
Yeah, that was not. They ruled that was deflected into the backcourt, but Harward had the chance to collect it and then step across the backcourt.
So what could have turned into a backcourt Aggies ball turns into a 4th foul for Pernell Gee on just a reach way out by half court.
I don't know how long they can let Gee sit. He's got almost half of their points, and they only have 26. Terry for Hamilton for 3. No, and Robles Montas finds the handle on the rebound. Now, the Aggies going to have to get back into this without their top scorer. Ibadapo for Lazima, who's not an outside shooter, and Stephen Hamilton has picked up his 4th.
That should put
should be 1 and 1 for Lazima.
Yeah, like you said, Lazima wide open top of the key, but he is not an outside shooter. And you mentioned before, he only shot 10 free throws all year, and this will put him at the line.
Yeah, he's only made 3 of them. He's 3 for 10. So this is not a good foul because it's Hamilton's 4th, but maybe a smart one. Aggies have not scored in 6 minutes since it was.
Officials are talking here. Not sure about what. Maybe if it was a shooting foul or if it was.
Whether he would get 1 and 1 or 2.
They're still discussing.
And that's what the officials are asking, and they're saying no.
It is 1 and 1. Yeah, I think that's the right call.
I do too. And Ewens, again, junior from Bayonne, New Jersey. One of a couple of transfers here for Coach Cabo, along with Godley Mark. Played a New Jersey junior college last season. And 1 of 2 for Lizima. The Aggies down by 9. We're 29 minutes in. The Aggies have 27 points.
But still miraculously in this game.
Yeah. Robles Montas a little over-aggressive with the help defense.
And Harward didn't see it at first, but once he didn't get that first steal, Harward was kind of able to regather, and that's what drew the foul.
5th on the Aggies, 1st on Francis. Harward has it blocked, gets it back. Oh! Diaz with the block.
Mr. Diaz getting up.
The Aggies can get any points off the stop.
I think Finkbeiner was a little hesitant to put that up. I don't think he's in that position too often.
No. On the season, Luke scores 2 points per game. Robles Montas, no. And Darson Harward. And another foul on Delaware Valley.
That's Lizima's 4th.
And 3 of them have been on the wrong side of the court.
I know Francis, he can knock down some threes, but that shot, that early in the shot clock.
He actually hasn't made one in 3 weeks.
Okay. You wouldn't know that from seeing his confidence going up shooting
No,
it.
it has not affected his willingness to shoot. Big binder across the timeline. Warriors up by 9.
Yeah, but I would like you can get a better shot. If there's 2 seconds in the shot clock, much different story. But right there, you can get a much better look.
Harward, who scored the first 2 points of the game, hasn't scored since. Terry shot, no. Aggies don't really have the run numbers here. And Mark will take it. Mark for Ibadapo. Fans want Thomas to go to the rim. He puts it on the floor again and then throws it away. And Ibadapo is
frustrated.
Yeah.
I think when he first caught the ball, I don't think he realized he had a little more space than he did.
Yeah.
And he kind of hesitated. That's why the fans were kind of reacting the way they did.
Well, the Aggies are inviting the Warriors to blow them out of the gym.
They really
not
are.
happening.
Yep.
Aggies haven't scored a field goal again in about 8 minutes. Second time in this game they've gone that long without scoring. Terry for Olodogwe for 3. Air ball. James with the rebound. And the shot clock reset and should not have. Good luck figuring out what it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Bench for Delaware Valley not happy, but nobody was watching. That one's just on the scorer's table.
I don't think they changed the shot clock.
They did not.
They did.
No.
Oh, man.
Olodogwe, pass, James, layup, good.
I don't know how that pass got through.
Warriors by 11. Aggies, again, not to beat a dead horse here, but 32 minutes into the game have 27 points. And it will stay that way for now as Mark's shot is deflected. Terry. Step through, layup, yes. And it's a 40-27 Lycoming lead. And the Aggies are going to have to take time out. Pernell Gee is 5 for 11. The rest of the team is 5 for 26.
And he was set to check back in there, even though he's got 4 fouls. Your season is... gas tank on the season's running on E here with 8:13 left, so you have to get your top player in and see what he can do. The Aggies haven't been in this situation. Last time they were really down by a lot was 3 weeks ago when they lost to Arcadia here, so they haven't really faced this spot in quite some time. So this is when you have to. They talked about how much they've grown together as a team, started trusting each other more, stick together, couple baskets. It's still just a 13-point game, and your defense is doing all right. So stay together, so plenty of time to get back in this one.
Lowest score this season was 57 at Arcadia, and we're not getting to 57 tonight, unless this goes multiple overtimes. Speaking of Arcadia, their season running out of time as well. Misericordia 19 threes tonight. Cougars lead Arcadia 94-65. Other two games also underway now. Stevens leading Wilkes 20-14 midway through the first half. And DeSales taking care of Kings in the 1 versus 8 matchup, 33-6. 8 minutes to play in that one. (40-27). If the Aggies are going to get any kind of push, it's going to have to come now as the Warriors have their largest lead and the Aggies have gone 8 minutes without a bucket. Paulus for Black for 3. No. Black chases down the rebound but tips it to Mo Terry. And the Warriors will just slow things down now.
Black's been pretty short on both of his three-point attempts.
Yeah.
That one a little more contested.
Harward matches up with Ibadapo. Lodogwe trying to get free from Paulus. Manuel kick out. Terry wide open. No. Manuel tips it to Ibadapo off the glass, and Godley Mark comes out of the pile with it. Paulus will push. Layup, good. Paulus with 5. Aggies down by 11. And it's Black. Tries to create an easy basket. Warriors have committed 16 turnovers. DeAndre Manuel, no. Gee with the rebound. Mark for Paulus. Paulus goes by Harward. Gets it off to Gee, sort of.
I thought Paulus got fouled.
Yeah. And it's a 9-point Warriors lead, and Elodogwe takes about 8 steps. I don't know how that's not a traveling violation.
I thought maybe a jump ball, too.
Yeah. 40-31. Terry shuffles off to Harward, and he's fouled. Yeah, there has to be either a jump ball or a turnover there. There's no situation in which you're allowed to change your pivot foot 3 times.
And then Black pleading on the other end that he got all ball. A lot of times, if an official sees you smacking, bringing your hand down, it's got to be very obvious you got all ball, because they're going to most of the time favor that you fouled the other team. And here we're going to see Jordan Gomes. Mentioned before, he hasn't played a lot this whole half. He's checking back in.
Harward is 72% free throw shooter. He misses the first. This is the first free throw from somebody not named DeAndre Manuel tonight, and the first free throw for anybody for Lycoming in about 18 minutes. And Harward misses them both, but the Aggies, catch a break.
Very fortunate.
Because that looked like it went off Godley Mark's foot.
Lycoming almost walking into an offensive rebound there.
Yeah.
There were like 3 Aggies
they
there.
conceded it and then still almost got it.
Manuel was the only Warrior there.
Aggies down by 9. Jordan Gomes with Harward on him. Black thinks about a 3. Leaves it for Gomes. 15 on the shot clock. Jordan for Godley Mark. Shot clock down to 10. Mark through. Gomes gets Harward in the air. My goodness, way short for Jordan Gomes. I don't know if he's hurt or what it is, but Jordan, just his second field goal attempt of the night, and hasn't made either shot.
He's matched up on the much bigger Harward here.
The Warriors have scored like 4 points in the last 8 minutes, but their lead has dwindled very little. Harward fakes, shoots the 3, no. Manuel grabs the offensive rebound.
He is down in the corner. He is down. On that closeout, on that pump fake by Harward, he went flying into the Lycoming bench. I know earlier in the year he was dealing with some injuries.
His shoulder, yeah.
He was in the Stevens game. He tried to play once, had a sling on it at one point. It looks like that's what he might be holding here.
Yeah, he does not look good. Warriors with their 13th offensive rebound there. Pernell Gee, a transfer from Penn State Abington, scored his 1,000th point of his career in front of a largely empty gym last year. Immediately plugged in, has been the team's leader in rebounds and points for most of the season. Third in the conference in scoring. He's got 14 tonight, which is right on his season average. The problem has been the rest of the team has 17 combined. He gave you the numbers before. Pernell is 6 for 12. The rest of the team is 6 for 29.
I believe the Warriors got the offensive rebound off that shot.
Yeah, Manuel got the offensive rebound, and then the officials blew things dead. And Pernell coming to the bench with his shoulder supported.
Yeah, that's tough to see. And prior to the last home game, I was able to talk to all the seniors and got to feel them out about what their time here at Del Valle has meant. And he's a guy that loves his program, loves playing basketball with these guys, and to see him, that
the arm is not moving.
No, it's not looking good.
Does not look connected to the body. Warriors will inbound it up by 9 again. Another chance for Lycoming to go back up double digits. Harward with Hamilton, who has 4, and Mark commits a foul, and Hamilton will go to the free throw line, and that is the wrong guy to foul. He's a 75% free throw shooter.
That's his first personal, team 8. Stephen Hamilton shooting 1 point.
3 guys with fouls. Gee. And Gee's going to try and come back into the game.
How about that?
And Hamilton misses the free throw. 40-31.
He's ready to go.
He's ready to go, yeah. They got his arm back in the socket,
back
apparently.
in or something, because he jogging over to the bench.
It's been another rough night for Godly Mark. 0 for 6. 4 turnovers. Pernell Gee is back down there. Somehow. 50-41. Forward. Warriors are 3 for 7 from the foul line, and Godly Mark, for some reason, seems content to put them back there as fast as he can.
Yeah, when you get relatively late in the game and you're trailing, you kind of start wanting to gamble a little more, trying to start going for those steals, even though you have 5 minutes. There's a 30-second shot clock. They have, you're playing good defense, so you don't need to do that.
Lodogwe hits the first free throw.
You're putting a 79% free throw shooter on the line.
Well, the first 2 times they fouled guys who shoot 72 and 74, and they missed. And Lodogwe only comes up 1 of 2, so. Well, they're going to rule that was touched. Paulus for 3. No, way off the mark.
It's just part of the night that it's been.
Yeah, well, Paulus and Mark are 2 for 11 combined. 10-point lead for the Warriors. On even an average night for Delaware Valley, they're winning this game comfortably. But it's that kind of night instead where they can't even execute uncontested passes in the backcourt. 37 minutes, approaching that, 35. The Aggies have 31 points.
And Paulus, a guy who, one of the best three-point shooters on the team, only has 2 attempts from beyond the arc.
Yeah, very early. Final score from Glenside, Misericordia 98, Arcadia 70. Misericordia finishes with 19 three-pointers as the 6th seed advances. They will play either Stevens or Wilkes, the Ducks leading the Colonels of Wilkes University 26-21. Arcadia women's team also eliminated. King's College defeats the Knights 74-67. Good night for Misericordia. The men win, the women winning as well. So it looks like the top 4 seeds in the women's tournament will advance.
Gordon, if you're Lycoming, if you said 4 minutes left in the game, we're 3 of 26 from beyond the arc, you're up 10. I would ask you, what are you thinking?
Right.
That's not possible.
If I told you they were up 3 of 26, they would probably think they're down. First off, taking 26 threes. Yes. Second off, only making 3 of them. They would figure that they're Arcadia, right? And that they're losing by 30. But up 10. Up 10, and the Aggies.
One of the more bizarre games you're going to see.
It has been all kinds of ugly. Aggies basketball team in danger of being outscored by the football team in games against Lycoming this year. 31 points for Del Val.
They got to shoot it.
Good grief. How do you call timeout and come out with that as your set play?
The initial play, I think, was to get Paulus coming off a down screen, and the Warriors were all over it, and it left Ibadapo kind of on the baseline in the corner, and only with 4 or 5 seconds left and before he realized that it was too late. And Harward, again, he's been great defensively with his hands. He has active hands, pokes the ball free.
Harward for 3 to put this out of reach. No, and Manuel goes over the back, commits his 4th foul.
And that's big, putting one of the best free throw shooters for the Aggies on the line with the clock stopped. The best thing that could happen right now for Del Val.
It's Manuel's 3rd, excuse me, I thought it was his 4th, it's his 3rd. Now Paulus tonight is 2 for 5, is 1 for 2 from the foul line, and at the risk of overstating the obvious, he needs both. 41-31, Warriors with the ball and the lead. Lodagwe.
Paulus got hammered on the screen.
Yeah. Manuel fouled by Nestor Diaz, and he'll go to the line for 2.
5'11" Matt Paulus getting screened by 6'7".
Yeah, he got trucked.
Dyson Harward. Whew, he's feeling that one. The Warriors are helping out.
Yeah,
they're helping them out.
They're not headed into the next round with a real strong, real strong performance here. They are 4 for 10 from the foul line and 3 for 27 from behind the arc.
And coming off a game, they just scored 38 points against the Sails.
Now that sums it up right there, does it not?
Tip rebound off the head.
Off the head of somebody, and a second chance 3 for Mo Terry. And the Aggies in desperation time, 3 from D, no good. And after the Aggies worked so hard to get a game here at home, they just never looked in sync. And Godly Mark, who's had a nightmare of a night, commits his 3rd foul. The Aggies have had games when individual players have been off, but this is one in which the entire team, minus Pernell Gee, has been basically invisible. And again, it's a 13-point lead. The Aggies have 31 points. It's hard to imagine they're coming back. But Lycoming has not been good.
You mentioned how they've just been out of sync, and it's their offensive sets. Balls getting poked away. They have to reset. Things aren't there, and unlike Lycoming, who's gotten open looks, Del Val's had some really contested shots.
Even right there, Ibadapo gets by his defender. Why is he hesitating? To do what exactly?
He does love that pump fake, but that's a time where you just...
Ideally when someone is in front of you.
Right, I agree. Like, again, that's a time when you go to the hoop and finish the layup.
Aggies with their third 4-minute-plus scoreless streak comes to an end as Ibadapo hits a free throw. 8 points for Thomas tonight, 3 for 10 shooting. He's the only guy on the team other than Guy and Paulus who has more than one field goal. And Nestor Diaz is the only other player with a field goal. They have 4 guys with made shots, and they've done a lot of that at the line too. 6 of 12 from the foul line for the Aggies. Not likely to be the difference in this game, but it certainly hasn't helped.
Lycoming, on the other hand, 5 of 13 from the line.
And Nestor Diaz. And Lazima has fouled out. Lazima finishes with 12 minutes, 5 fouls, 1 point. There is going to be a lot of really ugly stat lines coming out of this one. Stephen Hamilton makes the first free throw. I don't know. I mean, well, leave it to you guys to figure this out. The last time Delaware Valley has scored fewer than 40 points in a game.
We might have to go deep
into the archive.
Into the archives.
We might be looking at the
archives before
Pennsylvania Agricultural School days. 47-32. 2:31 to play. Mark for 3. Yes. First made basket of the night for Mark. 12-point deficit.
I swear, a lot of times in games like this, the team that struggling all game, they start hitting threes when it's kind of just a little too late.
Yeah,
and you wonder where that was all game. But hey, with the way they
cosmetic,
with the way they press, the way they can create turnovers, a couple steals, a couple baskets, you can get this to a 7-6 point game. The way Lycoming's been shooting at the free throw line, highly unlikely, but things can possibly fall your way here and there. So they're down to 1 timeout left, the Aggies are. So they call their second to last one there to set up their press, set their defense. They'll only be able to do that one more time.
Terry inbounds the ball to Stephen Hamilton. Warriors in the double bonus, and Paulus commits the foul on Elodegwe.
Fouls called against Delaware Valley, number 0, Matt Paulus. It's his third personal.
A lot of time to go in the other 2 games. DeSales is up 45-16, so it's at the half. So Kings is in Del Val territory for offense. And Stevens has a double-digit lead on Wilkes. So if those 2 scores hold, it would be 1, 2, 5, and 6 through.
And you know Lycoming, if they're able to close this one out, desperately wants another shot at the Sales out on their home floor after getting doubled up by 38.
Mark has a shot blocked, puts it up, blocked again, and I think Harward has not fouled out. That's his 4th.
That's a tough task going into the big man like that.
It's his 4th. Shooting 2 for the Aggies. Mark.
Robles, Montas checks in, Ibadapo and Black to the bench. If this is the end of their careers, Ibadapo had a good long one here at Del Val, graduate student. Black, a shorter career. He transferred in last year, but a good contributor on this team in the stretch run. 49-35. You get to these playoff games as Hamilton gets tackled and no call. And then Robles Montas gets called for nothing, so to make it up, I guess. There are two ways, I think, Brad, when you play in games like this. You really hope you don't go out. One is you play in really, really poorly, which has been what's happened here tonight. The other is your opponent can't miss, which is what happened at Arcadia.
Right.
Because in both cases, you feel like your postseason's over before it started.
Exactly. Like you mentioned before you could even get into the flow, it doesn't even feel like a Del Val game. The way they couldn't get into their sets. You know, they forced some turnovers, but they didn't score on the other end with them. And before you know it, you wouldn't think they'd play another game this poorly again. This has to be their worst game of the year, offensively at least. Right. And if it's in the regular season, you can just turn around, practice another game in a few days, and figure it out. They are, as Paulus is out of bounds. That is about the fifth different play tonight that you just cannot imagine happening in the season. Paulus missing free throws on a 1-and-1. Two guys collide with each other, and the ball lands in the hands of Terry for three. And right there, just a simple pass that they just don't catch. Mark had one in the corner before that just went through his hands. Simple things that, unfortunately, all happened in one game, in the biggest game of the year. And unfortunately, the last game, most likely, of a lot of these seniors. Well, that's what makes the playoffs exciting, is the do-or-die nature of it. And the Aggies are timeout. Going to get a momentary reprieve here as Lycoming calls one of their timeouts. They've got a bunch remaining. Well, for Coach K, I would still, the sting of tonight's going to last for a little while, but I would consider this a successful season. Oh, without a doubt. 15-10, the most wins for Delaware Valley. I'll check, but I think since back in Mark Seidenberg's first year as the head coach here. Yeah, and the young coach who, came in with a group of guys that were already here. Yep. He put in the system. It took them a little while to adjust to it. They did. They got in the top half of the playoffs. They got a home playoff game. He's learning on the fly. These guys learned on the fly. The one thing about them is you have no idea what they'll look like next year, because only four if Montas comes back. He wasn't honored in the senior day, so I don't know what that means. I think that is his plan, to come back. Yeah. But you'll have Lazima and Mark as your backcourt. That's pretty good. You'll have Gomes in the front court, who, like a lot of guys, has had a night to forget, but is just a freshman. Robles Montas. And that's it. Right. We've seen a little of Casey Caruso, but not a whole lot. Richard Thomas here and there. A little of Richard Thomas, but not a whole lot. And none of those guys are over 6'1", so. Yeah, Coach Cobb's got a, and I'm sure he has been, and the staff has been, hit the recruiting class very hard. And Paulus' jumper is good. Aggies, they can't even get fouls at this point. Paulus tried to clothesline Hamilton. Tried to foul. Olodogwe with 19 on the clock. It's immaterial whether they foul at this point or not. Hamilton to Manuel, and Maven Davis will put the exclamation point on this one. 53-38. Aggies, as Mark fires up a three and hits, sparing Delaware Valley the dishonor of scoring less than a point a minute. But, just a disappointing end to what was a fun run down the stretch here. Yeah, it was a fun team to play. They had the top seed come here to end the year and played a tremendous game and did something that only three other teams could do all year: knock off the Sales, and then they come into the playoffs and just one of those games that teams at any sport at any level have, where things just do not go your way, and it just happened to come in the playoffs, unfortunately. And that's sports. That's sports in a nutshell right there, where you can play your best game of the year against the Sales a week before, come back and lay an egg.
Yeah.
If you're Lycoming, you went on the road, got around a 10, 12-point win, but
yeah, you don't go home. You go home any win. You go home feeling great about, but you know that you can play better than this.
Right. To beat the Sales, you're going to have to play much better.
You would not assume that you're going to shoot 4 for 28 from 3. We said they couldn't shoot 1 for 16 from 3. They didn't. They shot 3 for 12. So not a lot better. But, Warriors will advance. They have not been beaten in the postseason in a long time now. Going back to their MAC Commonwealth days. Again, there was only a one-game postseason last year, which they won.
When they won it a few years ago, they did that as a 4 seed too.
Yep, they defeated Arcadia for the Freedom Conference. It would be the Freedom Conference Championship if they played now.
Right, yeah.
The Commonwealth Conference Champion. And they will only have one more year in the conference. They'll play here next year, and then they'll head off to the Landmark Conference with Wilkes to join Scranton and Moravian, Juniata, and Susquehanna, all former MAC members. Not sure what the MAC will do. They have more teams on the Commonwealth side than on the Freedom side. They're the one conference in the country that has the flexibility to move teams between conferences to maintain their automatic bids. They're the only conference that can do that.
Interesting.
And they did it. They moved teams around. And I've always thought that Widener would be the natural rival to move over, but every time I say that, it's somebody else who gets moved over. Eastern was in the Freedom for a while. I don't think they're separating Alvernia and Albright. But
no, don't think they'll ever do that.
Ryan Black for 3. No. Ibadapo tips it. Hamilton has it. And as Mark tries to foul and is unable to do so, the Warriors will run out the final 14 seconds. Disappointing end to an exciting season for Delaware Valley. Unfortunately, that is what the playoffs are about. Lycoming comes in and plays well enough to advance. Your final score, the Lycoming College Warriors 55, Delaware Valley 41.
Yeah, and tip of the cap to this group of seniors. I mean, Pernell Gee there didn't look, he could barely move with about 5 minutes left. Got his arm, shoulder back in place, came back in the game. So hats off to him. You know, these 8 seniors mean a lot to the program. They gave it their all. Coach Cobb, future's bright, I think, with him in this program. He's going to do very, very good things, as you can see he did in his first year here with a group of guys that he was introduced to over the summer, and he took them to a top 4 playoff seat. So that's exciting for the future, and you know, just best of luck to this whole graduating senior class who, like you said, disappointing end, but you know, they always gave it their all. You saw the effort there the whole game, and just unfortunately wasn't there tonight.
Matt Paulus, Edward Jones, Dario Medina, Pernell Gee, Nestor Diaz, Thomas Ibadapo, Ryan Black, and did not play tonight but was honored on Sunday, Jordan Tucker. So congratulations and thank you to those young men for their contributions. It's been fun to watch them and cover them this season. We will look forward to watching the rest of the team coming back. Thank you to you for tuning in. If you're a Lycoming fan, enjoy this one, and good luck to you in the next round. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say against DeSales, since they're up 31 to start the second half.
I think they hold that lead.
Feels like a safe bet. Again, Stevens leading Wilkes, and Arcadia already eliminated by Misericordia to get through. So the basketball season comes to a close for both programs tonight. The Aggies women lose at DeSales. The Aggies men fall here at home. I want to thank everyone for helping us with our broadcast of this season here from James Work Gymnasium. Thank you to Shad, to Tony, our producer, Jacob, who did some production work for us throughout the year. Thank you to Eric Hitch. Hope he feels better. Thanks, Brad. Let's do this again with a different result next time.
Hopefully, Gordon.
And thank you to Chris Elliott and Dave Duda, the athletic director here at Delaware Valley. One last time, your final score, Lycoming College 55, Delaware Valley University 41. That wraps up our coverage of basketball this season. Have a good night, everyone.